The Last of the 20. By Joseph N. Wdowski. The Second Wave. As they watched the mole men flee to the north, Miller stood and re-slung his rifle. He looked to the west, watching the sun setting behind the tree line in the distance. "The nest?" Miller asked. I think your weapon fire woke them early." 1:24 reported. "As soon as it is dark, they will head this way," Miller pointed out. Miller looked at the makeshift barricade, realizing it would not hold back the mutants. He also knew that killing their leaders will not discourage them, as it did the mole men. This is not a good defensive position. Once the sun sets, how much time do we have? At the pace they move, we should have 10 to 12 minutes after sunset. You think we should relocate?" 1:24 asked. "They are very much already awake." Miller examined their outer surrounding with his GPS system and his own visual assessment of the deteriorating New England town. "There isn't any place close enough that would give me a better defensive position. There's only one way they can enter, through or over the barricade in the open doorway." "You're going to make a stand here?" "Yes." Miller looked behind them at the church altar. "I can set up a defensive position there. As they try to navigate over the barrier in the open doorway, I can take out a lot of them. A few will still get over the barricade, but they will be funneled down the aisle between the pews." Miller moved to the altar. "It should give me enough of a kill zone to take out any that do make it inside." "I think we have a bigger problem," 1:24 reported. Miller was already setting up a firing position at the altar under a large crucifix of Christ. "What? There turns out there were more nests in the area," 1:24 said with concern in his voice. "Not worried about me or the stupid mule. We can power down, and they will ignore us." "How many?" Miller knelt behind the new firing position he had quickly assembled. It gave him a clear shot down the aisle to the open barricaded doorway. "I am picking up 14 other nests waking up this way from the southeast. The sun is down, and they are all converging on this location." 1:24 seemed worried. "We are talking over 300, may grow to 4. That is a lot for this area." Miller responded, now also concerned. "Harry said the mole men and the mutants have territorial conflicts. My guess is when the mole men moved into the Naugatuck River Valley, they pushed those mutant nests down into this area. With so many of them concentrated here, they have created a barrier stopping the mole men from venturing out of the valley." Miller theorized. "I would say that is a very sound assessment." 1:24 agreed. "I won't be able to fight off that many. Their numbers will eventually overwhelm my position." Assessing his surroundings, he realized he had boxed himself into a corner. He didn't see any avenue of escape, especially so early into the night. Worried, he looked at 1:24. "Well, I guess tonight is as good as any night to test your new anti-mutant crowd control system." "You mean the floodlights you attached to me?" 1:24 stated. "Yes, I mean the floodlights I attached to you." Miller moved the robotic mule to the back of the church and had it shut down. He returned to his new firing position. 5 minutes. Announced 1:24. Miller put extra energy packs near him so he could quickly grab them to rearm his Peppa. With only a minute or more before the mutants arrived, Miller ate a protein ration bar, biting down hard on it. He wondered if in case his jerry-rigging of 1:24 didn't work, would this be his last meal? He started to consider that Harry was right, that he is an idiot. First, he could hear the telltale sound of the mutants shuffling their feet as their horde got closer to the parish. Then, he could hear the sound of their nonsensical speech patterns amongst themselves. It was moments later his nostrils were assaulted by the foul odor of the mutants concentrated in such large numbers. Miller, wanting to gag from the smell, resealed his gas mask to filter out their stench. The first prune face, with his glowing, beady, soulless eyes that stuck his face into the open doorway, Miller immediately fired his Peppa exploding the once human head into a red cloud of flesh. It was not long that they then came in force. Miller emptied one energy pack, taking out dozens in the doorway. As he took the time to reload, the mutants had pushed aside the barricade and were rushing his position. Reloaded, he did not hesitate in returning to firing, purposely decapitating the prune faces. As their headless bodies fell, Miller was creating a new barrier blocking the aisle. The mutants, though, continued to pour into the church, groups of them pushing the blockage of dead bodies forward, while others began to flow around to the outer aisles of the pews. Miller, quickly reloading another fresh energy pack, turned his attention to the outer aisles, repeating his tactic of decapitating and creating new barriers of piled-up bodies. More mutants flooded into the church. None were discouraged that they were entering a meat grinder. With the piles of dead in the aisles, many kept trying to push through while others began climbing over the pews towards Miller. Miller was forced to eject another spent energy pack and reload. Why are they not running away like they did with the mama bear? 124 asked as he used his mechanical arms to pick up the spent energy packs, inserting them. If they keep coming in like this, I will not have enough time to recharge these. Miller, inserting his last full energy pack, continued to fire at the mutants that were getting closer and closer to their position. I'm guessing this would be a good time. A good time? A good time for what? 124 questioned. I don't think you seriously appreciate the situation we are in. The floodlights. Miller screamed, standing up and backing up, as he fired from the hip at the mutant horde. All right. 124 finally understood Miller's meaning. Turning on the floodlights attached to his chassis, the remaining living mutants screamed in pain as they tried to cover their eyes. Miller had his helmet computer greatly darken his visor, so he was not also blinded by the lights. He kept firing and taking out more and more as those that were still living hurriedly retreated out the church. Their tripping over the remains of their own made them easy pickings for Miller. Once the last of the living mutants vacated the parish, Miller and 124 took in the carnage. You must have killed at least 200, stated 124. The hard part now is how do we climb out of this mess? Once my packs are charged, I can easily vaporize a pathway out of here. Miller stated. Are they gone or still waiting for me outside? 124 shut off the floods. They have scurried back the way they had once come. I don't think they will be coming back anytime soon. You actually had a good idea, installing these on me. Miller took off his helmet, grabbing the spent energy packs and attaching them to 124 for recharging. Thank Julius. He is the one that gave me the idea. Well, if we survive this pointless mission of yours, and we are able to return to their hotel still, in one piece, I will.